Broadcasting from Manhattan Beach and the World Wide Web, you're listening to CHSR, HealthyLife.net.
As a service to our listeners, this program is for general information and entertainment purposes only. CHSR, HealthyLife.net does not recommend, endorse, or object to the views, products, or topics expressed or discussed by show hosts or their guests. We suggest you always consult with your own personal, medical, financial, or legal advisor.
Hi, and welcome to The Practical Mystic. This is Maureen St Germain, and you're listening to Talk Radio to help you make every day a day of heaven on earth. Using the information we provide, you will learn useful living information to make a meaningful life joyful and fun. Today we are here to celebrate families. It's a very special show, and we're talking about children and families and what are you going to do during summer vacation. My co-host today is a fabulous mother of four, like me, who has 15 years of preschool teaching experience under her belt, as well as a full load of life experiences as a singer. At age 33, she went back to college to become a jazz singer and has combined her improvisational vocal skills with her love and energy sound healing. She is a master healer, an incredible singer, and a good friend. She's the primary vocalist for Stardusters big band music. She sings in various jazz combos, works as a backup singer for popular music, and also tones with crystal and Tibetan bowls for healing, transformation, and meditation in many venues. She teaches these skills in workshops and private sessions. Her recordings and teachings reflect this wide range of musical experience. And today we will get to some of the things we've done jointly, but first I want to welcome Janice Jaffe.
Hello, wow, I did all that? That's really awesome. The way you're saying it, thank you.
You're welcome.
So fun to be here.
So today, because we're talking about families and children, we can say that we have 8 children between us.
That's right. Or more, much more.
Yeah, maybe more as time goes on, because those of us who have parented often find that we're in that same role with other young people as well. And by the way, I have noticed many people who are friends of mine who are childless by choice end up parenting young teenagers and young adults because they want to, because they can. So even if you have no children, the show might be for you, because you might have a friend that has a teenager or a young person that you might influence, and doesn't hurt to have a few chips under your belt. So let's look at that.
Or nieces and nephews and best friends' children, those kinds of situations too.
Most excellent. So, Janice, you have 4 children, and you have 2 with one father and 2 with another father. Is that correct?
That is right.
And so those of you who are listening who have split families or blended families, I think you call it, what's that like?
Well, I have to kind of go back to my mother, and she always taught that love is the most important thing. So you always come back to that, and that relations are sacred and they are special, and if love changes between people, it doesn't mean that it has to change in a general sense for the family. You can integrate the changes that you experience with a partner and keep them intact for the children. And
so what's the age difference between number 2 and number 3?
3 years.
And So how do those kids, the older family and the younger ones, how do they interact?
It's been a while since they interacted as children. I had a preschool in my home, and so they had an opportunity to relate with another, say, 8 children besides the 4 that I had. And I would say that they get along really well. And it's kind of interesting because one of my children from one father and another from the other father, they seem to get along well, and then the other 2 seem to get along well. So it's really kind of no telling, how these relationships develop. But these sibling relationships are really important for your whole life long. And so I think there was a cultivation of respect and, there's so many factors involved in how those relationships form. And my second husband and I tried really hard to make sure that all the children felt loved. I don't know how they felt, but that's their own experience to grow up with. But at least we were conscious of it.
So one of the things it sounds like that all the kids at your house experienced is that you were mommy to many children during the day. And they got to be with you, but there were other kids that relied on you as well.
Right. And I had 2 mantras that I repeated in my preschool daycare. And that was, this is a safe place, and there is enough love for everyone. So those were the 2 primary factors that I tried to kind of put out front there, meaning that it was not appropriate to hurt anyone. So therefore, this is a safe space. And also, I have 2 arms, but there's enough love for everyone.
Did you have competition?
Oh, absolutely. Children are definitely after the focal point, that main person, whether it's father, mother, teacher, caregiver.
And what about competition with each other?
Yes, in relation to getting attention from the adult. I think there's a lot of competition, which is why I would repeat, there is enough love for everyone. Another little trick that I did was I tried to pay attention as each person was coming through the door to that child as they walked in the door to welcome them, just as if you were just in a parenting situation, to really, the first moment of the day, to welcome, again, that human, that child into the home, into your arms, into your love. Welcome them to another day. Welcome them into your space, as it was for me when children were coming in. And I noticed I did not do that. Mm-hmm.
It sounds like you were teaching them to be patient at the same time, because they knew if they waited for the child in front of them, they would get their turn on the full recognition and welcome.
Yes. I also noticed that if I got caught up in a conversation with another adult and a child wanted me, this kind of thing would happen where they'd come up and they'd tug on my skirt or my shirt or whatever, and they'd say, "Please," and it was very soft voice at first, "Please." And then if I didn't immediately turn around, the voice would get louder and louder and louder until the kid was inconsolable, right? So I learned very quickly not to let it get to that point where if you turn around in the first moment or two and put the focus on the child, you could be just, look at the picture I just drew, and you acknowledge it. Wow, that must have been really fun to draw, or whatever it is you want to say to the child, and then they're so happy and they toddle away. So,
but what about? Wait a minute. What about? This is a very good. This is a very good piece of information because, one of the notes I made in prepping for this was the idea I need some peace. I can't handle, all this commotion or whatever this child is demanding from me in the moment because I'm trying to make a deadline. I might be working from home, but I've got stuff I got to do, and I'm supposed to be watching you, and why aren't you entertaining yourself, kind of a thing.
Right.
What about the idea of saying to the child, I need to finish with this adult, or I need to finish with your mom, or whoever is talking to you, and I will be with you in one moment. Did you ever do that?
Of course, I've done that, especially with my own children. What I do notice is if the response is immediate to the child, like, oh, I really want to spend time with you, and Mommy's got this work, or I see that you need this. Just the acknowledgement that they are trying to connect with you and you connect back could be just enough to allow that child to feel heard and then go their own way. So instead of it being like this contentious, like, I need time, just go ahead and give that moment. And it can be just a moment to them. I remember when I was a small child, I would get up as early as my mother, and she just wanted to get up by herself and write. And so finally, I would get up earlier and earlier and earlier, and she would get up, earlier and earlier. And I would just get up with her because I heard her. And finally she gave me a piece of paper and a pencil, and she said, Mommy's writing. This is writing time. This is quiet time. Here's your pen and paper. Go write a story. and do not bother me until the clock says this. So that is what I learned from her. What she gave me what I needed, and then she had her piece. And it may just take a second, seriously, like just that acknowledgement.
What about the fact that might be teaching a child that their needs get met first before anybody else?
Well, in the big picture, we all have to learn that when we meet our own needs, it satisfies the whole.
Indeed. It's incumbent upon me to meet my own needs, but what about the child? That's what I'm asking about. Are we not, by your method, doesn't that teach that, I agree with you, by the way, that if you ignore a child, they will escalate, and they will continue to escalate, as you say, until they're uncontrollable. But the question I'm trying to raise here is, it seems to me that if you teach a child that they can interrupt you, are you not teaching them that they can interrupt whenever they want because they have something on their mind that they want to tell you? At what point does that cease and they respect another person's space?
Yeah, that's a really, really good question, because the other part of that, and I think this was taught perhaps in my preschool when my children knew that they were my children and that I loved them. But sometimes I had to choose another child's needs before them because it was more urgent. So each being learned to see as well, okay, now I need to wait. And when you have more than one child, this is a little easier to do. And that is kind of juggling the needs of who's there, including yourself, and just say, okay, it's so-and-so's turn. And this happens also like in a circle or naturally in a family where two people are, when two children come up at the same time, that's when the whole, contention thing, you can always say there's enough love for everyone and I will get to you. You assess the situation and you never blame one child over another.
Okay, so I want to shift a little, and I want to ask about children that come in with their parents' baggage.
Mm-hmm.
How do you deal with that?
That come in with their parents' baggage.
Mm-hmm. They're upset, but you know that it's not because they're upset, it's because they're carrying their parents' burden.
Mm-hmm. So in other words, they're sensitive to the environment.
That's the kind of people who are listening to our phone call.
Yeah. So in what kind of, let's put it in a context maybe. Perhaps they
Well, I will be talking about this shortly. I want to talk about clearing children, but I want you to tell me how you can tell it's not theirs. How do you know you have a child that's misbehaving, acting out, acting crazy? You recognize that there's something else going on besides what's going on with the child. As an energy worker, as a healer, as a tapped in and tuned in mom, you could tell the difference. And I'm asking you, what is it that you do when you encounter that? And it's really important because people are encountering other people's children. People are setting play dates where moms are watching each other's children to give each other a break. And when you encounter someone else's child that's not yours, maybe you're not running a preschool. But I'm going to go somewhere with this in a story we're going to tell later. But I want you to tell me, how do you know the difference and what do you do?
All right, I guess it would depend on how urgent the situation was.
Have you ever had that happen? Let's start with that.
Oh, I'm sure I've had it happen a lot. As an older person, I'm 50, going on 57. And so as a younger woman in my 20s and 30s, I had different skills than I do now, and I might say things differently now than I might have at that time.
Okay, so tell us what you do now.
So, I think it would be really important to kind of just slow things down and create a sense of peace, whether that meant separating children or whether that meant holding someone if they were, kind of getting out of bounds, or just starting to, what I noticed for myself is that when someone else escalates, I will de-escalate. I will de-escalate the sound of my voice. It will get more like this, a little slower, a little more calming, and so I'll continue to speak, always slowing down the energy with my voice with the child, and then try to decipher from there what's going on. And these days, there's so many things going on. There's not just what's going on, maybe carrying a parent's burden energetically, but also dietary, things that are in the environment, all kinds of things that really affect children on a deep level. So, trying to decipher these things is a real job. And I guess, kind of tapping into your intuition about those things and being as informed as you possibly can be on all kinds of issues. It really takes an intelligent person to raise a child, with that much patience and love and concern these days.
Now, you're a practicing Buddhist. Did you teach the children to chant?
Absolutely, I did. Absolutely. And, I'm a Buddhist in the way of that I was chanting every day, so it was a sonic thing. And gosh, I remember chanting, my kids were loud and all over me. They'd hang on me, and I would just keep chanting, It was really, it's actually quite a fond memory. I was able to do that.
I actually had a favorite chant that I would play on my loudspeakers and sing along. And it was Om Namo Narayanaya. And, but my children learned the chant and then created their own words that were quite disrespectful. But that was exactly my thought too. It didn't matter. As far as I was concerned, they were singing along. And I would laugh and laugh and laugh. So any of you who are listening, if you're doing something that's really reverent and the children are, mocking it, understand that they are seeking attention. And when you laugh, they don't have the need to push it because they got the reaction they were looking for. And there's a joy there that anchors the original intention in place, I would think.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you should have been at my house.
Oh, yeah, laughter. It's like, yeah, if you don't know what to do, laugh hysterically. That's what I say.
Yeah, it's true.
One of the best tricks.
It's true. And I will also tell you that there were times when I would be working with my children and trying to teach them something, and the whole thing would just devolve a place of being absolutely hysterical. And I would just burst out laughing. And then I would say, now, just because I'm laughing doesn't mean I'm not serious. This is important. But it would relieve the tension because I was willing to laugh along. So when we come back, we're going to talk about children who carry entities and how they can be cleared. Stay with us. You are listening to The Practical Mystic with Maureen St Germain and my special guest today, Janice Jaffe.
Essential oils have been used since ancient times, but there has never been a formulation as amazing and original as Maureen St Germain's Aro Mandalas, a line of essential oils that combine 3 spiritual and healing traditions. No matter what negative emotional issue you may be dealing with, there is an Aro Mandalas essential oil that can help you grow and reach a positive emotional response. So clear out those unwanted emotions and feel empowered with Aro Mandalas essential oils. Visit MaureenStGermain.com and click on Essential Oil Blends. That's MaureenStGermain.com.
Shh! Over here. Here's a secret for a virus-free computer. ESET. They've been a pioneer in the antivirus industry for over 25 years. 25 years of innovative, top-rated antivirus protection. ESET's award-winning security solutions provide a safe online experience for over 100 million home and business computer owners. They are so affordable, fast, and simple to use. So be gone, you blue screen of death. ESET's on my computer. If it's not on yours, visit HealthyLife.net's advertiser page and click on ESET now.
So you want to change your life? Well, I have a great, easy, and stress-free way on how to do that. Get a guided meditation with Maureen St Germain. Powerful guided meditations on CDs. Or you can download an MP3 to your computer or tablet. There's so many to choose from, and once you get one, they are so reasonably priced and work so well. You'll probably want them all, and why not? Visit MaureenStGermain.com and click on Books and Media. Do it now. MaureenStGermain.com. Books and Media. And help change your life now.
Radio your way. HealthyLife.net.
Attention, Practical Mystic listeners. Here's a deal you won't want to refuse. If you've ever wanted a chance to get a free Akashic reading with Maureen St Germain, then here's all you have to do to increase your chance for a totally free reading. Email Maureen. Tell her your problem, and if your story is used on the Practical Mystic show, then you'll win a 30-minute Akashic reading with Maureen St Germain. How easy is that? And the email address is easy to remember, too. radio@MaureenStGermain.com. Email her now and get a chance at that free reading. radio@MaureenStGermain.com.
HealthyLife.net, the positive radio network.
Hi, this is Maureen St Germain, and we are back. I am with my special guest, Janice Jaffe, the jazz singer, the mystic, the spiritual toner that absolutely does incredible things. We're going to tell you later in the show about a project that I have done with her. But we've been talking about children and problem children and what to do in certain circumstances. And I had an experience that I want to share. I had a client that came to me, and they had a child in preschool, and there was another child in the same school that was problematic. And it didn't seem to be coming from the parents. The parents seemed pretty cool. It was not a Montessori school, but a school like a Montessori school. So he knew the parents were focused and intentional and were trying to do the right thing for their children. And they came to me because they were beside themselves and they didn't know what to do. And I was guided to tell them to clear the child. Now, this is not something that you would do to a child in person, because you're actually going to be using a knife to do the clearing work. So this is remote clearing work that you would do from a distance. You would use a piece of paper, and you put the child's name on the piece of paper and then stand on it. But you back into it. You don't just stand on it. Once you back into it slowly, you then use the stainless steel knife and shave around the body, just where the aura would be, very slowly and carefully. You make an invocation to Archangel Michael. And then after that's done, you wave the knife one more time, like in the air as a signal, like you might wave a flag that we're done. And then you move one step forward, and then another step forward. The same thing in reverse that you did before you went on the paper. You backed into the pace with the paper way. And what's amazing about this experience is this family, who was not interacting with the child very much, but even when the child was interacting on joint events with families, even when the child was interacting with other children, the child was just very, very hateful, very obnoxious, very rude. And within the next day, when that child came to school, after the mother of the family that felt they were being totally imposed upon by this inappropriate child, the child came to school and everything was different, a complete dramatic change.
That's really awesome. You know, I'm really interested in what your specific intention was going into the clearing. Was there something you were saying in your mind or out loud that you could share with us?
Well, you can find it in a book I wrote called Reweaving the Fabric of Your Reality. I also did a YouTube video on how to clear someone remotely. And so you can find it those two ways. What's important to understand is that children can pick up entities. It's important to understand that children can carry energies that are not authentically theirs. And when you begin to consider that that is a real possibility, the child may have an entity that was waiting for them when they incarnated. They may be a very high soul, and they're clearing entities off of their family or, their family members to help the family members shift and evolve. But because they're high souls, they can bear it. And somebody like you or I are going to come along and say, wow, we can do something about that. So this is a process that you would do on your own time. You would not necessarily need to alert the family. In fact, I recommend that you do not alert the family unless they're like-minded. And you make a very clear intention. Now, why would you have permission to do this remotely without even telling the family or the child? And the answer is that entities are no longer allowed in the reality in this way. Most entities are people who have died who no longer have a body. And if you no longer have a body, you're not supposed to be here. You're supposed to be on the other side. So hanging out here to express someone without emotion may serve your purpose, but it's not allowed. Now, people say, well, if it's not allowed, why is it going on? And the answer is the same as, if it's not allowed to break the speed limit, why do people do it? That's because they don't get caught. No one can stop them. No one has stopped them. No one has figured out a way to stop everyone who breaks the speed limit. So people speed. Now, this is not true of everything, because there are rules and regulations in societies, and so we know certain things are simply not done. But there are other things that people do because they can get away with it. And we all know stories like that, whether it's shoplifting or talking trash or whatever. So if you encounter this, you can get the book and learn how to do it. You can call our office. You can have someone do it for you remotely who is more knowledgeable about this type of thing. But it is possible to clear a child that does not respond to any kind of coaxing or training or compassionate intervention. And it's important to know that you still have one more recourse when you encounter this. And it's generally what you look at when you see it in a child like this is that the behavior is far more mature than the 6-year-old. So even though it's very fierce and very inappropriate, it's not a 6-year-old type's reaction. And that, when I heard the story from the parents, I knew instantly what was going on, that the child was holding an entity for someone with some benefit. And so we put an end to it. So now,
so your intention was for the highest good and for that child to be free.
Right, to be free from that burden of that entity that doesn't belong here. That's right. You know, I think of the movie Ghost, you know, when Whoopi Goldberg allowed Patrick Swayze, the energy of Patrick Swayze, to move into her. But, you know, there had to be a permission thing because he was conscious of it and he could eject her. But a child doesn't know what they're doing, so they wouldn't have understanding. Now, one of the things that I observed as a parent, which was a big aha for me, is that children come in without understanding their emotions, without knowing how to control them or what they are. And that was a big shock for me. It never had occurred to me as an adult that my children and their emotions would be like learning to do something. It just never occurred to me.
Actually, this is my favorite. It's my favorite subject because my favorite age is a 2-year-old, and my mother. Yeah, I know. My mother taught me that humans go through stages, and I kind of relate this to even the chakra system in a way. In a way, like that 2-year-old thing, the emotional perplexity is what happens to a 2-year-old is that little body doesn't have enough verbiage, so there's no word to describe for them how they're feeling. And so I had a trick to that for the 2-year-old.
You had a trip?
A little trick that I have for that. Yeah.
Okay, so let's see.
Should I say it when we come back?
No, because we're going to talk about teenage cussing when we come back, but we're not ready to go there yet. I want to hear your 2-year-old trick.
Well, when you see an emotion in a child, you name it. So you give it words, and you just state it as how they might be feeling. So if a child is like all looking very frustrated and throwing themselves on the floor, you look at them and you say, "Wow, Johnny, it really seems like you are very frustrated." And then it's really almost magical to look at you like, "Oh, is that what that is?" There's a word to it. Or Susie, you look really angry right now. And they're just like, "Oh, yeah," and after a while they get to be able to express their words, how they're feeling. And that changes everything in the level of expression. But
yes, and I can see how that would do two things. It would, number one, validate in the moment them as a human being and having an experience that they didn't like, didn't know what to do with, and didn't know how to step away from it. And by shifting the focus to validation rather than the dysfunction, they immediately are able to shift out of it. And I'll bet that after a while, the kids that were around might do the same to each other. Did that ever happen?
And, yes. If that is what is taught in a situation or in a home or in an environment of preschool, then these things get passed on and they start talking to each other like that as well. It's really interesting.
So when we come back, you will learn about teenage cussing and what Janice did about that. This is Maureen St Germain, and you are listening to The Practical Mystic. We will be right back.
So, you want to change your life? Well, I have a great, easy, and stress-free way on how to do that. Get a guided meditation with Maureen St Germain. Powerful guided meditations on CDs. Or you can download an MP3 to your computer or tablet. There's so many to choose from, and once you get one, they are so reasonably priced and work so well. You'll probably want them all, and why not? Visit MaureenStGermain.com and click on Books and Media. Do it now. MaureenStGermain.com. Books and Media. And help change your life now.
When you're looking for bedding, department store prices can shock you. Well, be shocked no more. Sell steak cheap, not cheap steak. That's the motto of Anna's Linens. Although they don't sell steak, they do sell the best bedding, bath, and home decor items. They strive to provide their merchandise at extreme value to their customers, and they do it. Great everyday prices on everything and military discounts. Plus, if you visit them online, they have clearance items and internet specials. Visit them online now at HealthyLife.net's advertiser page.
The loving, healing energy of the Akashic Records is a profound tool for self-exploration and empowerment, and these records include every thought, word, and deed of your life throughout time. With so much information, you will probably need a guide to help you access and interpret it. That's where Maureen St Germain's trained and certified Akashic Record guides can help. Discover what you really need to know with an Akashic Record guide reading. For more information, visit AkashicRecordsGuides.org. or visit MaureenStGermain.com and click Akashic Readings. Essential oils have been used since ancient times, but there has never been a formulation as amazing and original as Maureen St Germain's Aro Mandalas, a line of essential oils that combine 3 spiritual and healing traditions. No matter what negative emotional issue you may be dealing with, there is an Aro Mandalas essential oil that can help you grow and reach a positive emotional response. So clear out those unwanted emotions and feel empowered with Aro Mandala's essential oils. Visit MaureenStGermain.com and click on Essential Oil Blends. That's MaureenStGermain.com.
Radio your way. HealthyLife.net.
Hi, this is Maureen St Germain with Janice Jaffe, and you are listening to The Practical Mystic. Thanks to Healthy Life Net Radio, I'm with you each week, this time on Mondays. I am an international transformative teacher, author, and intuitive. I work with individuals and groups providing insightful information from their guides through my connections to the Akashic Records. I've written a manifestation book, You Are the Genie in the Bottle, and have taught progressive manifestation workshops since the same name since 1994. Our customers tell us that the Genie Workshop experience gives them both the tools to understand and apply the manifestation that was taught in The Secret. I've also taught the Merkaba meditation for over 15 years and have released both the guided DVD and CD version of the Merkaba and written the follow-up book, Beyond the Flower of Life. Later in the show, we're going to tell you about a joint project, a Merkaba project that Janice and I have done. But before we get to that, I want to talk about my other book, Reweaving the Fabric of Your Reality, which we were talking about in the last segment, and that will help you get what you need and want. And I also want you to know that I have a company called Transformational Enterprises that has developed a highly acclaimed emotional healing aromatherapy product line called Aro Mandalas. And this month, we are featuring Dolphin Dreams. And it's kind of a great one to be using at this time because it's wonderful for bringing in joy. It's amazing to me that people can have miraculous healings, and the in the energy of the dolphins. So it's no surprise that when you're using this, you might have a big surprise in your healing work as well. One of the things that joy brings is the removal of resistance to obstacles. So keep that in mind as you use Dolphin Dream and discover the joy. I will tell you that one of my clients took a bottle of it to work with her, and she called me and said, my coworker said I can't bring it anymore because we laughed and giggled all afternoon after using it. So on this show, we intend to inspire you with phenomenal information. Look to us to discuss transformation, which means permanent change that gives you ideas to inspire and grow your connection with the universe and to increase your relationship with God and the people around you. Each week, we have tips and tools that you can use right now. And we're going to hear a story now from Janice about teenagers and cussing. So as your own kids grew and you left the preschool business behind, you picked up your kids one day from school and they were dumping.
Not just one day. Sometimes, the kids go through school, and I don't know. My kids are very expressive children, and I know this happened way more than 10 times. And with different children, they'd go have a really bad day at school, and then they'd get in the car and they'd be really upset about something. They'd slam the door and sit in the other seat, and they'd just start a stream of anger and frustration and cussing and whatever happened, just expressing that, and or just not wanting to do something or whatever it was. And here I am just sitting, in the car, innocently picking this person up, helping them out, whatever. And I would drive away and I would just start cracking up. Like it was the funniest thing I had ever heard in my whole entire life. And my kids would get even madder. They would be so mad. They would be like, Mom, stop it. Mom. And then I'd just even more. They would get even more hysterically laughing. Like, even just make it bigger. Like, just make the laughter bigger. And they're like, Mom, stop it. Mom, I mean it. I'm so mad right now. And then every single time, there was no exception to this rule. Every single time, they started cracking up with me. And we ended up just, laughing in the car together because it was impossible for them not to laugh when I was just literally hysterically laughing. And, this kind of takes a little aspect of imagination and
yeah,
drama.
So let's talk about that for a minute because, some parents are going to be in so much shock and so much outrage that their kids are doing this that they don't have to do with their own emotions. So how did you get to laughter? How do you get from, I'm the parent, I'm shocked, I'm outraged. How do I get to laughter?
Oh, yeah. Well, because it's funny.
It's funny, but it's not funny. If you're a parent, you don't want to encourage that behavior, and you're worried if you in any way you're going to feed the demons, so to speak.
Right. So you do have to kind of come in with a different perspective. I think honestly, when you sing and when you exaggerate life in a creative way, you come up with ways to deal with situations that are really different. For instance, I would use not just laughter, but also surprise.
Now, wait a minute. I'm going to corner you for a second. I want you to teach me. I'm the angry mom. All those women who are listening, I'm the angry mom. I've had a rough day myself. I don't like it that you're cussing. It hurts my ears. It hurts my heart. I'm worried that you're upset for a good reason that I can't fix, so now I'm worried about your happiness. How the heck am I going to step into that laughter?
Well, it starts with the maniacal laughter. Start with how you feel and twist it into laughter. Because, laughter, stop singing,
Okay, but see, you've had training. Wait a minute. You've had training. You've had training as a theatrical type training because you're a jazz singer. So teach me what steps would I need to go through to get there?
Okay, so first recognize that it's not your emotion. It's theirs. And the higher level of vibrational emotion will always win in the end. So allow that to happen and then to transform. So first you have to go,
that's very cool. So it's not my problem. Remind yourself it's not my problem.
Right.
Even though you think it is. But teenagers, they're not your problem. You've already done what you could, and they're going to do what they do.
And so you have to kind of separate yourself from that and go, okay, I was fine before this person stepped in the door. Now let's make sure that I have that nice little separation, that I can be the one to elevate this situation in a different way.
Excellent.
Or you can just plain old say, hey, this is really uncomfortable here. You can express yourself appropriately. Let's turn on the radio and sing.
I like your first answer the best. I think laughing will just break it up, and I just love it. And I just want to encourage all of you who are listening to stay with us. We've got more excitement for you, and we also have a wonderful gift. We're going to talk about the brand new 5D Macabre that Janice and I created together. Stay tuned. You are listening to The Practical Mystic with Maureen St Germain.
Attention, Practical Mystic listeners. Here's a deal you won't want to refuse. If you've ever wanted a chance to get a free Akashic reading with Maureen St Germain, then here's all you have to do to increase your chance for a totally free reading. Email Maureen. Tell her your problem, and if your story is used on the Practical Mystic show, then you'll win a 30-minute Akashic reading with Maureen St Germain. How easy is that? And the email address is easy to remember, too. radio@MaureenStGermain.com. Email her now and get a chance at that free reading. radio@MaureenStGermain.com.
For all your live or pre-recorded webcasting needs, come to earthchannel.com. Get your web-based message out to a select group or the whole world. It's easy. A pioneer in webcasting, earthchannel.com provides the best products and services to big corporations and government users. And now this same technology is available to you. They have the best Earthcast encoders, servers, and products to meet your technical needs. But wait, don't want to mess with technical stress? No problem. They'll do it for you. EarthChannel.com is your answer. You can use webcasting for lots of things like advertising, marketing, customer support, training, and don't forget web radio and TV. In fact, you're listening to a live Earthcast right now. So come to EarthChannel.com. Actualize your audio or video webcasting needs today. You can't beat the friendly service or the price. Call earthchannel.com at 1-800-849-8978. That's 1-800-849-8978.
So, you want to change your life? Well, I have a great, easy, and stress-free way on how to do that. Get a guided meditation with Maureen St Germain. Powerful guided meditations on CDs. Or you can download an MP3 to your computer or tablet. There's so many to choose from, and once you get one, they are so reasonably priced and work so well. You'll probably want them all. And why not? Visit MaureenStGermain.com and click on Books and Media. Do it now. MaureenStGermain.com. Books and Media. And help change your life now. Essential oils have been used since ancient times, but there has never been a formulation as amazing and original as Maureen St Germain's Aro Mandalas, a line of essential oils that combine 3 spiritual and healing traditions. No matter what negative emotional issue you may be dealing with, there is an Aro Mandalas essential oil that can help you grow and reach a positive emotional response. So clear out those unwanted emotions and feel empowered with Aro Mandalas essential oils. Visit MaureenStGermain.com and click on Essential Oil Blends. That's MaureenStGermain.com.
HealthyLife.net, where positive overcomes negative.
Hi, this is Maureen St Germain, and you're listening to The Practical Mystic. We're so happy you stayed with us thus far, and we hope you're having a fabulous time listening to our ideas and suggestions on families and how to make your own life a day of heaven on earth each and every day, and a day of heaven on earth for you and everyone you come in contact with. One of the things we promised we would talk to you about when we came back was choices. So I'd like you to tell me what you mean by that, Janice, and where does that fit in?
I think my mom taught through demonstration that too many choices is just way too much. And, so as your children grow, it's important to give choices. So not just to say, here, do this, or here, we're doing this now, or like that. It's like, okay, would you like the purple shirt or the brown shirt? Would you like the plaid pants or the striped pants? So you give choices, and they feel empowered. And then as they get older, they handle these choices that you're giving to them. As they get older, more choices can be added. This is also a really good way to keep things in a way that you would prefer. So
I agree. And I had one son who was a Taurus, and I figured out real early, like when he was out. It only happened to me once, where he refused to get dressed, and that day. And after that, I thought I'm never going to give him an ultimatum again. And so I would always say, do you want to get dressed and come outside and play, or do you want to stay in your jammies all day? I would never force my hand. And when he wanted to stay up and watch a TV show, but he didn't want to do the dishes, I would say, okay, well, it looks like you're kind of tired, and if you don't want to do the dishes, I'll do them for you tonight. But you're probably then too tired to stay up and watch your TV show. It's up to you, though. And of course, they would choose what you wanted. It didn't matter really, because both were acceptable to me. And that's the key, to give your kids the opportunity to decide for themselves. I will also tell you that I believed in giving your children no more than 5 house rules of our family. Don't break curfew, don't get in trouble in school, maintain your GPA, and do your jobs, and, help wherever you can. And what would happen is that meant that bedtime was a free-for-all. But you weren't allowed to get caught in trouble in school. No, if I got a report of somebody sleeping, when my kids were first, I waited till they were in high school. But as soon as they were in high school, I said, okay, you can go to bed whenever you want. I'm not going to police that anymore. But here's the deal. I'm not going to wake you up in the morning either. Think of how many parents have had to argue and fight with their kids to get them out of bed in the morning. I just quit doing that completely. It's up to you. Yeah. I don't care what you do. It's okay with me if you want to stay up all night. Just remember, no sleeping in school. I don't want any reports. And if the GPA falls down, this privilege goes away. So the first thing that happens is, of course, they're late for school. So the first time they're late for school, I would always blow them out of the water by saying, well, that happens to everybody. Even happens to me. I'm late once in a while myself. No worries. Don't let it happen again. So then the second time it happens, you would say, oh, honey, I guess I gave you this privilege too soon. It's probably more than you can handle. So let's just set that on the shelf till you're a little older, and we'll try that again, when you're a little older. And you'd wait a week or 2 weeks, and you'd go right back and say, okay, are you ready to try that again? Oh, yeah, I'm ready. And then they cut through. And one of the things that it does for a young person, when they get to decide their own bedtime, they develop self-control. They develop self-mastery. They develop the tools that they need to get along in life. Because they can figure out, if I don't get to bed, I'm not going to be able to run in that race tomorrow. If I don't get to bed, I won't pass that test. And they self-regulate. And they feel so empowered that they have the power to decide that. No one's dictating to them. So I always called it freedom within limits.
Yes, that's a great way to develop responsibility. Also to allow for the natural consequence of what happens.
So give me an example here.
Like if they don't wake up on time, then, like for instance, being okay for one time, because you're right, it does happen. And another way to do that might be to just say, okay, I'm not going to take responsibility for that. and you miss school, or that is the consequence of waking up. I'm not going to save you in this situation. In a situation where it's important to them, but not, horrible consequence, but to have them see the natural consequence of their own actions.
Okay, now we've got to shift a little. We've been having a great time talking about families and children, and we wanted to take a few minutes to talk about the 5D Merkaba that Janice brought to me, and we created a guided meditation and a sound activation. So Janice, why don't you tell us a little bit about this meditation and what it can do for someone and who should be using it?
Well, I think it's really important to already have the classic Merkaba in a way, although there's a lot of people who are really in tune with their spirit, with their higher self. And I believe that there are ways to bypass that. But the fifth-dimensional Merkaba, or the multidimensional Merkaba, is a set of geometries that connect you up with your higher self in a way that creates a superhighway instead of, say, like a road or a dirt road. It's something that really highly activates your connection to the infinite within the infinite. And
so I'm going to have to jump in here and tell you that we are running out of time. Please go to MaureenSt.Germain.com to learn more about the 5D Merkaba. Please go to CDBaby.com artist Janice Jaffe to learn more about Janice. And we are so happy.
Or you can go to JaniceJaffe.com.
So we're so happy to have you with us today. This hour has gone by very quickly. Have an awesome week and join us next month. Looking forward to it. This is Maureen St. Germain, and you've been listening to The Practical Mystic with Maureen St. Germain, and today, Janice Jaffe. Thanks, Janice.
Thank you.